A very good evening and a good morning, because we are doing 2 time zones today from the team of TechNavic. This is Mr. Damodar Sahu, and I have brought Dr. Damodar Sahu, I would like to say. And I met him probably 10 years back. He's a 26-year-old professional. His journey is such amazing. He started from the traditional, how you say Canon. He's coming from the traditional chorus, moving to Bajaj Electricals in the manufacturing, to Axel Frontline in their reverse logistics management, to Wipro, to Bharti. I think the entire journey culminated when he used all of his experience from high tech to manufacturing to consumer goods. He moved into Wipro, where he amalgamated all his experiences. He started again all over, getting a tech bend to everything he had done, starting from his, his work with Industry 4.0, IoT for high tech verticals, then coming to fintech, where he explored blockchain as a technology, then connected cars, which all of us today are, the key buzzword, moving to manufacturing digital solutions, and everything else to get into SaaS. We always say the bigger solutions have to be packaged small to reach your audience better, and there came the SaaS. Within that, I think the most important feat he has achieved is alliances and partnership, which is the top 3 prongs of any go-to-market strategy. So all the way from my hometown, which is Belagunta, and a very rich cultural city, Ganjam, I would attribute his Facebook videos to his artistic side there, I would like to say. So I follow you, sir, both on LinkedIn and on Facebook. So I think your artistic side comes there and your techie side comes on LinkedIn. So I get the best of both worlds. So amazing journey. He has been a mentor. I mean, I could read pages of his introduction, but I will not do that. He's a mentor to startup culture in Odisha, because of which after 26 years, he left his corporate journey and success, and then he went back the whole circle to join a startup. Now he's all the way in California and in Michigan, where he helps this startup get into market with his marketing, alliance partnership, and everything. So what a prolific background, Damodarji. Thank you so much for coming to our fireside chat.
No, thank you very much, Ishita, for having me here. I feel pleasure to talk to professionals like you. Yeah, we met 10 years ago. Time flies. And that time I was in India. So I never imagined, this is my 6th year in the US. So time flies, few years in California, now Michigan. Now I join another startup company based out of Silicon Valley. So I will keep moving there, here and there. So yeah, life is wonderful, beautiful. And I always went with the flow, like you said, industry to industry, different industry. And let's say banking automation to, let's say, consumer electrical manufacturing to IT, ITS, BPO, logistics to like telecom, then back to IT like Wipro, 11 plus years. So yeah, it's an inspiring journey. I also feel myself blessed, proud of being here. Thank you.
Such a privilege. But I think by the end of the talk show, we'll find why you were privileged. It was an extremely solid function that you're working on, I feel. So, you know what? All that you did, even when we started our journey in QLB TechNavic, the idea was we stuck to SaaS-based companies. Why? Because whatever was in a mega scale, we found people could, the same idea, why shampoos sold better when you sold in a 2 rupees pouch. Similarly, when SaaS came in, everything we could not imagine, people start trying innovation and giving them shape in software. And today I work also with the big 10s, big 4s, big 10. Now when I work with them, I have seen they are getting inspired by SaaS and making those models bigger, larger.
Absolutely.
So it's beautiful. So on that note, I know I could have asked you about Industry 4.0. I could ask how manufacturing, high tech, everything works. But I feel everything is a miniature world in SaaS and the best way to learn. So now I would like to, divert this conversation specifically to, even today, SaaS has been there for the last 10, 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
But as you look today, from here, 2023, for the next 5 years, I want to ask more than that. Which are those top areas where you think techpreneurs, entrepreneurs, the Silicon Valley guys, the Bangalore Silicon Valley guys can start developing solutions, and still there will be a market for the next 5 years?
Absolutely. So though SaaS is there since many years, but still I can say SaaS is the future. And people know what is SaaS. I don't need to talk about SaaS. And the future in SaaS, including, let's say, supply chain, procurement, workforce management, your contract intelligent or intelligent contract, then process mining, then also new thing coming up, data privacy, right? So everything, all these startups actually grown. I mean, all the products those who are making in this backend, they become $1 billion revenue. SaaS in billion is big, doing, let's say, 15 billion in services, right?
Yes.
And SaaS revenue is nothing but, you make one time, hosted in cloud environment with all those security aspect, then people will just come and use it. Let it be your e-commerce, your marketplace. You have tie up with, let's say, ISVs. Then you have your partner ecosystem, your value-added reseller, your co-sell with partner, then your implementer, right? Implementation partner.
Yes.
SI, large SI, right? Everybody will come and pick up and they will go and implement in their respective customer.
Yes.
So it's a license you are making one time, but you are actually, it's a recurring revenue year by year, right?
Yes.
So that's why I say SaaS is still the future, and those who are into startup creating any product, it's a share economy. Like, we take a rent of a car, let's say in Uber, Lyft, it's a share economy. People don't want to buy a home, they want to take on rent, right? Especially the new millennials coming up, right?
But tell me something, these SaaS solutions, if they have both the versions, I today also find a lot of clients, there was a phase when they're happy going to cloud all the time. But now they have retracted few steps and they want also an option to be on-premise or on a private cloud kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
How does the face of SaaS change there? I mean, is it too tough to have two versions, one SaaS version and one for your SaaS to work on their environment? Or how do you do that?
There should be 4 versions. So on-prem we can't ignore, because the large corporate, let's say basically for financial, banking and financial institutions, right? Healthcare and your insurance, they are large and they deal with consumers data, right?
Yes.
So always that is a private cloud, on-prem.
Okay.
All the SaaS companies, they have that provision. The second is SaaS. It is their cloud. Just you take it, use it, and pay for use, right? Pay for license, right?
Yes.
The third is your marketplace. Let's say your Azure marketplace, AWS, Google Cloud marketplace.
Right.
They are also hosting, then anybody can go and use it. Then your e-commerce. E-commerce is nothing but it is hosted in respective company's website. All the developer community, they will just go download and use it. So normally there are predominantly 4 different kind of commercial model.
True.
You can't ignore on-prem because they're a large corporate and they deal with consumers data. For an example, any government,
Yes.
let's say if you talk about the recently data privacy is a major concern, right? Like GDPR, people know about in European market, right? Even in California, we have got called California Consumer Protection Act. Last Friday, government of India declared that they are also going to have that data privacy act. So this is also coming. So where data privacy consumer, of course, it should be, if large corporate government, all the data should be there and it should be on-prem. Yeah.
True. So within this, when as a SaaS creator, what are the challenges? I mean, you have to plan too much or there's too much investment when you plan all these 4 versions. So what are the criteria you must consider when developing a SaaS solution, considering all these 4 environments?
So first is industry. You see, it doesn't mean that every industry will use, for an example, supply chain. I will give an example. So supply chain is not widely used in banking and financial institutions, right? Supply chain is basically except your BFS or BFSI or capital market, right? Yes. Supply chain is relevant for retail, your manufacturing, high tech, right? Consumer good, these are actually, But if I talk about procurement SaaS, it is cut across all industries.
Right.
If I talk about contract lifecycle management or intelligent contract, where both buy side and sell side, it is for all. Now where I work, data privacy. Data privacy is also a growing concern for business of all sizes, right? In the wrong hands, like your PII, your personal data, PHI, your healthcare data can be used for identity theft, fraud, and other crimes. That's why also it is very important to have a data privacy program in place. If you see like GDPR in Europe and in US states, let's say Consumer Protection Act, like California has, and few other states also last week they have declared. Also for India, last Friday, India also declared that they will go ahead with the data privacy, act. That means they want to protect consumers, citizen side. So SaaS in data privacy also plays a major role, and it is for all industry. Let's say government, your healthcare, banking, insurance, healthcare, retail, technology. Yeah. So I mean, net. If you ask me, the SaaS, the future of SaaS in data privacy, then of course your other products like your process mining, your intelligent contract, supply chain, workforce management plays a major role because of the pandemic and post-pandemic.
Yes.
Still, it's a remote work. Yeah.
When you talk about process mining, that also attracts me a lot. Tell me a little more about that area of process mining.
Okay.
Where does what does it do, and then what potential do we have?
Okay, so you see, if you see, we have all kind of data, starting to your ERP, to your connected data, let's say in IoT, or Industry 4.0, right? And your consumer data, your structured, unstructured data. So data are everywhere, but who is actually working on the data? Though most of the corporates, they have appointed chief data officer, right? Or chief digital officer, but actually process mining tool comes at a very nascent stage where you will pick up all those data and do some mining, then give you a lot of many business intelligence. Maybe they can predict a failure of your off-road machine, let's say earth moving, or a elevator, or let's say factory machine, right? Or they can predict it's basically for how we can actually predict a failure, how we can actually forecast the supply chain, how we can actually create a visibility of supply chain, inventory management, right?
Right.
And how we can help that information feed to your manufacturing to manufacturing right product for the right geo. For an example, in India, the product which is used in Kerala or Kolkata, because of humidity, it may not relevant to North India during winter, right?
Yeah.
So right product, right time, right geo, right? And there are many into business intelligence in terms of, let's say, for a CFO, for chief supply officer, for inventory guy to plan, or the marketing guy to what kind of product actually customer is expecting him to sell, or sales guy, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah. I recently heard about this very interesting example. Process mining can be used to even tell you whether your softwares are efficient, current. If you see, I was talking to this customer who's into automation world. So we all, even with the amount of technology solution that companies are offering, you always have 2-3 options to do the same, right? And that is why a series started. When we were discussing that the CIO is often confused that particular problem, how can I solve the solution, or even a particular technology criteria category, which product should I use? And there I felt this use case, which I recently heard, that it can tell you, let's say automation, how are these 3 tools doing? Still, what is the gap in your process? How much are you really generating? How much are you still losing? And then tell you, oh, this can be solved. So, I mean, you can even, that's an amazing area, I feel. So, so process mining, you talked about the hardware side, the manufacturing side, any kind of gaps can be analyzed. And then you can choose your path ahead. Amazing tool. I think we should have one session on this.
It will give you an entire command center view. I mean, with one screen, you will come to know what is happening across your, let's say, global organization. Maybe across factory, right? Let's say if I am a chief financial officer, I should understand where are my concerns I should address, right? Because I maintain the profit loss, right? If an inventory guy, he should understand where exactly his inventory across globe.
Is there an exciting field for you among all the 5 that you said: procurement, supply chain, intelligent contracting, or the workforce management, and the process mining? If I had to ask you to rank, which you think is the most exciting or potential full
plus data privacy we should add, because this is the future,
Okay.
Because I mean, there's a consumer's data, personal data are compromised, right?
That is data privacy.
Absolute data privacy. So I can say data privacy.
Okay.
Then of course there's process mining.
Okay.
Then supply chain.
Okay.
Then your contract life cycle, intelligent contract. Then of course procurement, right? Yeah.
And workforce management would
of
come
course,
later?
absolutely. But still we have remote and
Very much. The way you ranked it is exactly how we are facing the world now. So I think amazing. Among this, we have, until I move to the next part, I just want one more area where you could talk about. We did talk about process mining. We talked about data privacy. Among the next 3, just choose one and tell us more about, how that area can be explored further.
Okay. Let's say for intelligent contract, right? in traditional, let's say we call it sales life cycle management, contract life cycle management.
Yes, yes.
So contract can be both two ways, right? Sales side and buy side. If I am an enterprise manufacturing customer, for an example,
Yes.
so I buy materials from my thousands of suppliers,
Right.
vendors, right?
Right.
So I have a contract with them, with warranty, your RMA contract, right? So everything is digitized, and like simplify, put, let's say your DocuSign. Let's say we are signing an NDA.
Yes, yes.
So how it is to these days to sign a contract, right? Or rental
Yes.
agreement, or no. Similarly, thousands supplier with different bill of materials, SKU. So it's with a different terms, payment to warranty to aftermarket, right? So this is your buy side. So then you manufacture a product, then you ship to your distributor, then ultimately will be used by a end customer, right? And that is sales side, right? So how the contract, and there are different terms and condition, payment terms and condition with your different kind of your enterprise customer or your end customer, right?
Yes.
So how all this contract can be put properly, and that's why you call it intelligent contract. And these are all empowered by artificial intelligence these days.
Right. I was going to ask, what about
Absolutely.
blockchain? This sounds like a very blockchain kind of a problem. Does this?
Yeah, blockchain. You see, blockchain. Yeah, it's a digital ledger. Blockchain, right? And of course, with your timestamp, and for an example, let's say if today's conversation, like
Yes.
you and me are having here on Zoom, if you put it on blockchain, that means it tracks. Okay, I'm based out of US, you are based out of
Yes.
Pune, Maharashtra,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And the time track, it is recorded. Tomorrow I can't say I have not talked about this today.
Yes, yes. So
so-
contract management should use that too? Should use that
Contract
too?
also, yes.
Yes.
When you sign, let's say I just told you multi-vendor, multi-contract, multi-customer, it says different time zone. So everything is tracked there, So,
I mean, that's whatever you did in your 26 years, you can just package it into everything. So that's so awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. See, our days was not digital days when I started my career in 1996, right? I mean,
Yes.
still used to maintain paper for signing a service report or Excel sheet later on came
Yes,
up, right?
yes. You come
So,
a lot
yeah.
from the service background. So I know service, field service. Yes, I understand
Yeah.
that. So I feel very, I will be sad if you don't talk about supply chain then. We talked about most. So let's pay a little more time. Also, I'll ask you supply chain. What is the future of supply chain in this
The
front?
future of supply chain, I think most of the SaaS company, and they are actually developing or develop control tower.
Uh-huh.
It's a control tower is the term we use it. What does it mean, control tower? Like you have your police control room,
Yes.
or let's say in BPO
NOC,
or
we have those NOC operating systems, tower
NOC operating system.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's a supply chain control tower.
Okay.
So sitting at one place, you can see the current movement,
Yes.
and also you can do the demand planning,
Okay.
where actually the demands are coming from, which country, which geo, which product,
Right.
whether aftermarket or finished good. Then also you can do planning, so then also you can redesign your supply chain.
Right. Right.
And so I mean things are happening at this moment, and the future, and you take the past data and you can do your future planning.
Right.
And also you can predict. Okay, let's say there is a calamity is happening. Let's say monsoon season, for an example. And world is unrest, war zone, right?
Yes.
So how that will plan it? Let's say you are shipping a product through some area, but you are finding some war zone. So how you can dive to a near shore? So this is control tower means nothing but your police control room, where you get calls and you are actually sending your rescue team or your whatever you call it. Right?
Yes. This is your experience from. I'll remind you. You've forgotten connecting your dots, but you were in telecom. You were in Bharti. So the control center. You imagine that time when towers should be down and the visibility. So everything. See, imagine cross-functional is so important because only you can think of a great SaaS solution because you've seen it all. I mean, the way you
I will tell you one example.
Yeah,
I will tell you one nice example. When I was in my banking and office automation industry, I'm talking about 2006. I was in Hyderabad. I was the head of customer support for Andhra and part of Karnataka region, right?
Yes.
And one customer, I will name them, State Bank of Hyderabad, right? and he was one of my major customer, and we have supplied currency counting machine and checkbook dispenser, and ATM was there, but I was mostly focusing on this.
Yes.
And check clearing solutions. If that machine is down, then the checks won't go to the clearing agent. Let's say at that time it was Bank of India at that time. So when I go and meet that chief manager, he told me, Damo, before the machine fails, you should come to know, because it is your machine. You are managing. You know the load of the machine. So I should not call you. Before the machine fails, breakdowns, I should see your engineer walking into my clearing center. So that is the customer service, and exactly that is happening because of the data.
Yes. I can remember customers like this, who then, customer feedback and hearing them and they giving you an idea is the next what you implement after 10 years.
Yes.
So amazing.
Amazing.
So, you know what, I understand that all this culminated into you joining a SaaS-based product and startup and, putting your mentoring skills, your technology, your 26 years into such great use. And I realized in our earlier conversation, you said there are 3 areas you're going to look at, the alliance partnership, the go-to-market strategy. So here, so being a marketer myself, I understand marketing strategies could be basically of, go-to-market. You will either go organically, like we were discussing before, maybe mergers and acquisition, inorganic. Inorganic, you actually find the customers. But even when customers come to us, when new SaaS companies or new companies, I always say, get your first few orders. But I strongly believe, apart from organic, definitely the field that you are master of, which is alliance and partnership, is non-negotiable. So here I would, it's the last 7-8 minutes of our track, but I want you to really tell, what are the basics of alliance and partnership, and for SaaS companies, what could it mean?
Absolutely. You see, without partner, without business partner, you can't exit, right?
Yes.
So for any product, especially I will focus on SaaS products. If you're making SaaS products, then though you want to quickly acquire customer, that is customer acquisition, that you can do it. Yes. But without partner, you can't expand your business. Partner that to all regions. It can be, let's say, Europe, America, or Asia Pac, right?
Yes.
So let's say it depends on what product you are making. Whether you are making for a small, medium, or large customer, right? Enterprise customer. If it is for all that product, you have to identify the value added reseller in that particular region, or the country or the state, to start with, right? And I suggest, if you SaaS, don't only say that, okay, I will only keep 100% SaaS revenue, I will only ask my system integrated or value added reseller only to sell, give them some incentive, that reselling incentive. And sometimes the SaaS company, they don't allow the system integrator to resell. They are expecting them to co-sell. Co-sell with the product company. Yes, that is fine. Though you have your professional services, that is your support, but thing is that also you enable, give proper training, certification, enable that partner to go and talk to the customer independently. You should enable him that he is your one-man army. He's with loaded gun, so that he will go and talk to the right customer with the right message.
Yes.
But don't be very conservative. Oh, okay, if I disclose something, no. If you don't disclose, don't enable, how come he will go and sell, right? And enable, be with the partner friendly, and it is always a win-win strategy. So no partner means you are not going to expand your business. Then slowly, the moment you are becoming big, large, then appoint a consulting company or big, large GSIs. Right, IT services company. Yes. Then definitely. Then of course, Then also you target your segment. Let's say all SaaS product, it doesn't mean that everybody will use it, right?
Yes.
So you target your thing. Of course, then you talk about the organic, merger and acquisition. If you find that you need to acquire some company, something, go and do it actually. Of course, not at the initial stage. Once you become the big daddy in that particular space, right?
Yes. No, so coming back to partnership and alliances again, if I take it back to, let's say, just for the case of discussing, you mentioned about 5 areas. You mentioned contract, you mentioned supply chain, you mentioned procurement, you mentioned workforce. Do you suggest that alliance and partnership should be a technique in each of them? They can be leveraged in any of these, for the case of discussion, these 5 areas. Can they all be applied here?
Okay, all applied here, but there is a boutique partner concept. Boutique partner is nothing but they are boutique in this particular nature. For an example, one boutique partner only promoting, let's say, data privacy solutions or supply chain or procurement.
Okay.
So also all the SaaS companies should latch on to those boutique partners because they are boutique in nature and their domain is in that. So they are only focusing. So if you enable them, they can do wonder for your product.
Give me an example. Let's say it's workforce management. Okay. Now, what would these companies, which kind of partnerships would they go? HRMS maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's say you're hired to retire. If I put it in, hired to retire, starting from onboarding to exit. Right?
Process mining would go to?
Process mining also, let's say one boutique partner is focusing process mining for, let's say, healthcare product. Or let's say banking, so he's only focused there, his domain is banking, so you should latch on to that particular boutique partner so that he will promote in banking and, let's say, insurance or financial or capital market, right?
I understand why you're so sorted, because like you segment your customers,
partner as well.
I think this is like segmenting your partners. I mean, the world is too large even to segment. And see, in case of customers, at least they're identifiable. Enterprises are identifiable and they're there on the platter to see what they want. But when you come down to choosing your alliances and partners, it's so complex and layers of it.
Absolutely. It is not easy, but that's why a lot of people, they call themselves, or I call myself, Alliance Fellow. That means I understand that alliance culture,
Yes.
It's a culture. Alliance is nothing but a matchmaking, right? I mean, it's a, you like Indian Marriage Act. I always say, it should keep going, if any problem, vibration happens, sit down.
I agree. This stage of thinking is once you're into an alliance. Okay. But tell me, how do you choose your alliances? For an example, let's say you talked about process mining. That seems a little tougher bit for me right now over here. Okay. Let's say process mining is the offering and you are looking in the entire, like when I go to sell, let's say if I have to sell HRMS, I will choose based on my price, on my features, that I need to go to a company which is 500 million plus, or whom am I making the product for? MSME, SME, large scale, and it's sorted. You go, everybody needs an HRMS. Right. But let's say an example of process mining, I want to look for now partners and alliances. So how do I first segment? Whom do I go to? Should I go to manufacturing consultants? Should I go for, of course, that's no brainer. You should go to manufacturing consultants. But should I go to the ERP vendor? Should I go to the automation product vendor? Should I go to the, the CNG machine vendor? So whom do I go to? Like, how do you decide who to go to?
Yeah, so because process mining, you see, we call it data is equal to cash or money, right?
Yes.
Those enterprises are sitting on data, big data, right? So they are your target customer. It cannot be small. It should be medium and large. And partner, where you choose, actually those who are into data analytics, big data, and so you will go there, then they will have a bunch of accounts and clients which will take you to the market, right? Okay. So directly you are getting customers through your partners, and it should be win-win. Why I'm saying it, please be a partner friendly both way. Let's say SI to SaaS vendor, or let's say SaaS company to SI or value-added reseller, right? It's a win-win situation, So in that way, I am sure this process and the long-term relationship will take it forward, and you both will win in the market. Yeah.
I think you should have a book written on how to do that. And give you a book idea, business idea, or blogging idea, as they say now.
Yeah.
It's an entirely big topic. So I think it's amazing what we covered today, but this is exciting what we spoke. But if you want to leave something on alliance and partnership, which we'll end, do you want to leave something for the audience?
Absolutely. So being an Alliance Fellow, I always tell my partners and the companies I work for, right? So so it's a wonderful field. Alliances, I call it partner ecosystem. I call it ecosystem. Alliance is different, but ecosystem is different. So let's say play ecosystem. Collaborate. And why? If you are collaborating each other, then you are actually influencing a larger ecosystem. Let's say customer, right? If I'm collaborate with you, other academia, research, government agency, then definitely we'll go as a team, as an ecosystem, and crack it. So let's be a ecosystem builder or community builder, as I should say. So that is all about, so I'm sure you can win the deal, you can win the customer, right?
Wonderful. It was a very different kind of a talk today, but I think we covered very important aspects. I'm so happy. Maybe next time it can be a prelude, and the postlude to this could be something on modeling an alliance partnership. How do you go about it? Maybe we should hear one session on that in the next season. So I'll look forward to that. Thank you so much for joining us all the way in the reverse time zone. But thank you so much.
No, pleasure to be here. Thank you, Ipshita, having me here. Thank you very much.